Splitgate 3? Now, this is a very, very perplexing thing to tackle, but just because I'm a FPS kid. I am a FPS kid. I used to play CSGO. I used to play a shit ton of Overwatch. Thank God I'm free from the shackles of the game. I used to play COD a lot. Got into a little Valorant when it first came out. I'm not really a fan. Got into a little Apex. Not really a fan. Halo, I'm still a fan of, and will always play Halo, even though Halo Infinite is not one of the greatest of games. So naturally, because of my Halo fandom, I transitioned over to Splitgate. Splitgate 1 was a great game. I definitely had my fun in that game. It was definitely a little bit nuance with the portals, and the art direction, the style was a little bit different. It was definitely, for what it was worth and what the time period that it came out in, it was definitely a little game that I could just sit down in and just kind of get that kick of the FPS game, because XDefiant was also around. FPS games have seen a lot, and this could easily just be its own separate video on the decline of FPS games, which I'll probably make going into next year, seeing that this is the last video for 2025. But let's just dial it in and lock in on this new Splitgate game. Now, if you don't know, we had Splitgate 1, then Splitgate 2, which had Battle Royale, which didn't make any sense. Then Splitgate 2 disappeared. They stripped a whole bunch of shit down, and now we have Splitgate Arena Reloaded. So Splitgate 3 or 2.5, however you want to count it. And I don't know how to feel. Again, as an FPS kid, as someone who loves FPS games, I generally don't know how to feel. Like, I needed a game to scratch that FPS itch. At first, I downloaded Fortnite on my PC. I slowly but surely realized I don't really like the BR format anymore. Granted, Fortnite has Blitz, and Blitz is a little more fast-paced and kind of scratches the itch, but even then, it's not really all that I want. Plus, I've kind of grown out of Fortnite, so naturally, seeing that Splitgate came back after the original horrendous launch of Splitgate 2, I'm back on the game. Splitgate Arena Reloaded. I don't even know why they named it that. They should have just made it Splitgate. They just went back to the first game's name, or just made it Splitgate 3, or just kept it Splitgate 2, because it's still under the same. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is I don't know what the direction is. Like, granted, they listened to the community and everything, but at the same time, the problem that Splitgate 1 had is probably gonna be the same problem that this game has. Good idea. Gunplay is pretty solid, depending on who you ask, but no one really played it. And I think we're also in a pretty insane time period where FPS games are kind of in a stalemate. You got Call of Duty bowing out finally and not making yearly games, or so they claim, because of all the AI bullshit that was going on. You literally see it. People are tired, or at least I was, burnt out of Warzone, and we got Battlefield 6 and their version of Warzone, or whatever the fuck it's called. Valorant is still played, and Overwatch is still played, and games like XDefiant were taken down. Like, I'm not saying Splitgate Arena Reloaded, again, I'm not gonna ever get over that name, is gonna be terrible, but I just don't know if all the damage that Splitgate 2 did is gonna be rectified with this version of the game. Like, generally, I just don't know for sure, because people are still going to play COD. People still play COD. No matter what the circumstance is, People still play shit ass Call of Duty, AI riddled Call of Duty. No matter what the circumstances, people are still going to play that game. I just don't know if the player base for Splitgate Arena Reloaded, again, the name is awful, is going to garner what they want. You know? Like, let me go look at the Steam charts real quick for Splitgate Arena Reloaded. As of right now, I mean, it's not really doing any different from Splitgate 1. This is really not, I can't tell you this is good or bad, but if it's less than 1,000, I don't think it's doing that great. Yeah, like you look at other FPS games like CS. Granted, this is a very highly competitive FPS game. This has 1 million players on it. I need to get on this so I can play Surf. But this has 1 million players on it. Then you got PUBG, this is Battle Royale. Arc Raiders is doing phenomenal. Battlefield 6 is going strong. Little decline, but it's still going strong. There's just no reason. I just don't see a world where Splitgate Arena dog, Splitgate 3. I don't see a reason for Splitgate 2.5, 3, 7, 6, 8, whatever the fuck is gonna be anything that they expected it to be. It's not the new Halo. That's just never going to happen. I just don't see that. And even then, we could talk about Halo's dumb shit that they're doing over there at 343 with the fucking AI shit. And I can make a whole video on that and how disappointed I am just hearing those words with Halo. But with this game, it just seems like it's another one of those play it when you bored, play it when there's nothing else to play. I'm gonna play it. It won't be often because I rather just fucking play Skate at that point. And even then, Skate, again, I already told you guys in another video, I will be making a video on Skate going into next year at some point. I don't know yet, but I will. But this game just feels like it should have been like this. It should have just kept, like, this is how I feel with a lot of games. Splitgate, there was nothing wrong with Splitgate, in my opinion. There was nothing wrong with Splitgate. Splitgate 2 just wasn't the greatest direction. Now, I could be wrong. Splitgate Arena Reloaded 2.5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever the fuck, can easily become a well-known cult classic FPS game. Those shit like that is very plausible to happen in today's world. However, you're competing with Goliaths like Battlefield 6, Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike is a legacy game. I might indulge and get back and learn CS and see if I would rather play CS than Splitgate 2.5 because I've already dropped Overwatch. Fortnite, it doesn't entice me. I just need a FPS game that I can just play. I might just have to go back to one of the older CODs and play fucking zombies and call it a fucking day, like Cold War or anything, or we'll see. But I just don't think Splitgate has the tools right now to do what it needs to do in order for it to be great. And that's unfortunate because I generally think that gunplay wise, mechanic wise, they have some shit. They got some sauce. Again, I think it's a pretty decent, fun game. But is it really going to push the envelope and make people get on it? So to all the people who have played Splitgate, shit, there might be people who don't even know what Splitgate is, which I totally would understand. It's unfortunate. I think the state of Splitgate Arena Reloaded and the state of FPS in general games are on a massive decline, and I wish better for these style of games. But when you have shit like CS taking over and ruling as it will probably always do for the next millennium, there's nothing really competing, because when you have games that are shit like Call of Duty and get taken away, put back, and redone and reskinned, and it's just not, it doesn't do well. Like, look at the history of games that have been taken away and come back and don't even nearly touch or scratch the surface of what the previous iteration of the game did. But who knows, maybe I could just be talking shit. Let me know down below what you guys think. Is the state of FPS games doing horrible, or are we trending in the right direction? I don't really think so, but hey, you let me know down below. Appreciate all you, and I'll catch you on the flip.